Hello everyone, my name is Jackson and I wanted to talk about my film The Road to Cabazon and kind of the structure in which I wrote it and edited it in because I think it's kind of interesting and it's kind of something I do a lot with a lot of the stuff that I make or try to make. So if you haven't seen this movie, don't watch this video. Huge spoilers ahead. I'm going to talk about the whole plot of the movie and everything. It's only 99 cents on Amazon right now. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Otherwise, I'm going to jump right in and start talking about it. So looking at this little infographic here, here's the first frame of the movie. And then on this left side, we go chronological order. We hit the middle of the movie and then we go back up top. And the way this is structured and the way when I wrote it, I set out I wanted it to be like a book, like a bookends. And you'll see bookends a lot in a lot of things that you watch in movies and TV shows. And it's something that I do a lot. For example, Bad Mormons, the beginning of the movie is exactly like the end, or they're in the same spot. So it's kind of like bookending the story. Same thing in Rainy Carolina, which I wrote with Tom O'Brien. The first and last scene are exactly the same. I did something a little bit different in the first and last scene of this movie, but bookending is a good way to kind of wrap up a story and keep it complete. And it's something I like to do a lot, sometimes a little bit too literally, but this time I tried to go a little bit more visual with it. The two pictures that are next to each other mirror each other. So throughout the whole film, scenes in the beginning and the end of the film almost exactly mirror each other up until the midpoint of the film, which is the scene at the bottom. So I will be talking about how these scenes kind of go hand in hand and correlate with each other and kind of show the beginning and the end of the movie throughout and how things change over time through the circumstances that the characters go through. So this is the first frame of the movie, and this is the last frame of the movie. As you can see, it's the same rock that we actually drove across the country with, specifically. This is the hero rock that I bought. I went shopping for rocks. It was a whole thing. So yeah, we open on this rock, and it's Dave's rock. It's in the beginning, it doesn't really mean anything, but at the end, as Emma leaves it there at this monument that he wanted to go to, it means a lot. It's kind of like them saying goodbye. It's kind of like their funeral scene because there isn't really a funeral scene in this movie. But yeah, spoiler alert, Dave dies. Let's move on to this part of the movie where we see that the Chris Corcolo's character, Sam, his life is kind of in shambles. And this is kind of one of the things that leads to him losing his daughter Emma in the custody battle, is that his life is kind of a death trap. And after their trip across the country and he loses Dave and he loses his daughter, he's like, this is my time to kind of, get my act together and fix my life. And then it goes into that montage where he's like fixing up the kitchen here. So we can see kind of like a change of character where his life is in shambles and then everything is kind of like quote unquote fixed here. So in this scene, in the very beginning of the movie, Sam is trying to connect with his daughter. And he's just like, back in my day, yada, 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 trying to connect with her. And she doesn't really care. But at the end of the movie, after everything they've been through, they're together and they're sharing Twizzlers, which is a whole point in the movie earlier. And everything seems to be really good between them. So again, it's a change. It's a very easy visual change to see that, they don't really have a good relationship. And then all of a sudden they do. Well, not all of a sudden, it takes an hour and a half, but then they do have a good relationship. And I don't know if you can see, but I think I'm behind this chair back here filming. And I think this is the cord. So I can see the monitor to see what the camera sees. I think that's what that is. I think I'm behind. I think this is my shoulder right here. So I'm always in the background of every car shot that you see in the movie. So here's another scene which we purposely mirrored to kind of look like each other. This is after, spending all day not connecting with his daughter. And he looks at this memory of like, this is when we loved each other as father and daughter. And then this scene kind of mirrors it, being like, oh, this is his ex-wife and the life that she has had after leaving him. But in this first scene, it's crooked, and he straightens it out, kind of like a visual metaphor of like he's trying to straighten out his life and trying to connect with his daughter. And at the end, kind of spitefully, this frame is, perfectly level, and then he makes it crooked, kind of like as a slight against her, like, how dare you leave me and my daughter, and then take my daughter, and I'm going to make your life all, topsy-turvy in a way. Just a visual little joke there. This is the courtroom scene. So he's fighting for his daughter in this scene, and he is like, I don't want to let her go. I'm not going to let her go. You can't take her away from me. But the judge is like, nah, you got to let her go. In this scene, this is where he actually physically has to let her go and leave her behind. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. Here's the first stop on the road to Cabazon, which is Cape Canaveral, which we actually shot this in Sandbridge in Virginia Beach. But it looked kind of like Cape Canaveral, so that's fine. And this is the last stop. She really doesn't want to be there, and when she gets here, this is Cabazon. This is the Cabazon dinosaurs. I wanted to leave, I wanted the title to be The Road to Cabazon, and then it's like, what is Cabazon? What does that mean? And I wanted that to be even a surprise to the audience. What is Cabazon? Where are they going? All throughout the movie leading up to this point, we try to make her seem like she likes dinosaurs. She has a dinosaur poster in her room. She has a dinosaur on her phone. There's a scene with, I don't know if it's in here. No, it's not in here. They go to a gas station, and the gas station workers are wearing dinosaurs on their uniforms and stuff. So the whole point of this scene, or the road to Cabazon, was he is trying to connect with his daughter and take her to a place with these giant dinosaurs. And he's like, "Oh, you love dinosaurs?" And she's like, "I haven't loved dinosaurs since I was way younger." So it's kind of showing how he doesn't even really know his own daughter after spending all their time together. But then this trip, he kind of learns a lot about her, or at least that was the goal. So these kind of mirror each other, where she doesn't. This is the start and this is the finish of the trip. This is fun. This is right after this scene. They're in a hotel in Florida, and she wants to go swimming, and he's like, "No, you're not going swimming. I'm not going to let my daughter go swim outside at night. Are you crazy? We're in the middle of nowhere, Florida," I think he says. And this is the end, when they're in Las Vegas, and they're swimming together. He's finally loosened up. He's finally chilled out. He's not so high-strung as he is in the beginning of the movie, and he's kind of let his guard down, and he's going to have fun. He's just letting his guard down, and he's kind of just enjoying time, and they have a heartfelt moment here. So here they're at odds, and here they're kind of getting closer together. Here are our two kind of party city scenes. This is New Orleans, and there's a little montage of them walking around during the day, and then there's a little montage of them walking around Las Vegas at nighttime. We probably spent about maybe an hour in Las Vegas just trying to get these shots. Actually, it was like an hour and 5 minutes, because the parking was free for an hour, and then after that you had to pay for it, and I think we missed it by like 3 minutes or something, unfortunately. So we did not spend a lot of time here. We just quickly got the shots. On the other hand, we spent all day in New Orleans going places. So these two scenes are like them trying to bond, basically. These are the scenes where they're supposed to be getting closer together and spending time with each other. So this is Dave when he gets drunk and he comes back to the hotel in New Orleans, and they kind of have a little scuffle here where he gets in his face and he's drunk. The whole movie, Dave is drunk, talking about drinking, surrounded by beer bottles, or is drinking. Pretty much the whole movie. He's always talking about wanting to party and let loose because his life is kind of in a rut. I think, if I had to make this movie again and rewrite it, seeing how it turned out, I think I would have given him a lot more scenes in the movie where he is not with these guys. And in fact, after, filming all of these scenes and going across the country and everything, we got back and I was editing, and we hadn't filmed the New Orleans stuff yet, so we had planned to then add a scene for Dave in New Orleans where he is not with Emma and Sam, and he's just by himself, and he's at a bar and he's drinking, and I really wish we would have added that, or if we had the money. It really came down to money. I wish we had the money to film that scene, because I think it would have added a lot to his character and who he is and how he is influenced and easily influenced. Because I really wanted it to be not overtly obvious that he was an alcoholic, but, after he dies in Las Vegas from, choking on his own throw up here and then being discovered by Sam, I really wanted it to be clear, like, oh, he has a problem. And everyone always says, like, wow, this really caught me off guard, him dying, which I can see, but hopefully afterward they thought back and thought, well, man, he really had a problem drinking the whole movie. So hopefully that was clear to people. Approaching the middle of the movie, we have this scene where she's like, can you just be nice, following this scene. Just be nice to Uncle Dave, Dad, and treat, he's a human being. He's my uncle and I love him and I relate to him. Just be nice. Stop being so high strung. And then we have this scene, which kind of these are both kind of heart to heart scenes. This is what I like to call, this is a heart to heart scene. I like to call these gushy scenes heart to heart scenes. So they have a heart to heart, and then these guys have a heart to heart where he's like, yeah, he's like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll be nice to him. But then he's like, here, no, I need to be nice to him. I need to treat him right. And, he's my brother-in-law, or ex-brother-in-law, really, in the movie. But this is their bonding moment where things from here don't get better, but they get a little bit better, because then they go to the Grand Canyon and they have that little montage of them hanging out and having fun together. So if they, if Dave didn't die, I think they would have had a really good relationship moving forward. Unfortunately, he was an alcoholic. Fun fact about this, this was done in not a parking lot, a driveway, and we just kind of stuffed for suitcases and stuff to cover up the windows. And then Lila isn't even in the back seat at all. She was supposed to be sleeping back there, but we just fooled everyone into thinking we were driving in the middle of nowhere. So, and then we have the middle of the movie, which is kind of like the highest point of the movie, I think. We did this in Nevada, I think, New Mexico, Nevada, something like that. I think the night before we just went on Google Maps and found something that looked pretty nice. Yeah, we just pulled over on the side of the road and filmed this. We had to wait for cars to go by. Even though we were in the middle of nowhere, there were still cars, surprisingly. So in this scene, they ran out of gas and they're on the side of the road, and it's his job to drive. And he's like, why did you not get gas? Like, what is the deal? This whole movie, he is angry at Dave for getting him in this whole situation. And, he doesn't realize that a lot of the stuff that happens to him is his own fault, and him not connecting with his daughter is his own fault. But he likes to shift the blame onto Dave, onto his ex-wife, onto the situation. So they get really heated and they really get in each other's faces in this scene, in which she runs out into the wilderness and is comforted by Dave, because Sam just can't. He just can't relate to his daughter at this point. And it isn't until after this that he sees the people in the gas station, and they have this scene. And then we go back up, and then he dies after they just bonded. These are flip-flopped. This happens first, and then this happens. But for the sake of kind of showing the, the way these scenes mirror each other, I put them next to each other. So that is it. That is the road to Cabazon, and how it's kind of structured with bookends, with the middle being this scene. I think it's a good way to write stories. I think it can get a little predictable sometimes, which clearly when people see Dave dying, they're like, oh, I never saw that coming. Oh my God. So if you guys want me to, make more videos like this talking about either the story structure, the editing, or even how we filmed the movie. I can go in and show like spreadsheets of how we kind of, plan to shoot the whole movie, our whole schedule and stuff like that. I can go into that. If anyone's curious to see, go ahead and leave a comment down below. But that is The Road to Cabazon, now on Amazon for 99 cents. Go grab yourself a copy.